you local news first. You're watching Fox 4 News at 6:30.
Good evening, and thank you for watching Fox 4 News. I'm Austin Sack, and you know Chance Sicklin, but we'll get to that in a second. We start tonight with the latest developments into embattled Mesa County Clerk and Recorder Tina Peters. Chance, Peters turned herself into authorities this morning, but what charges does she currently face?
Austin, Clerk Peters was released after posting bond, but now she has 2 additional charges. I've been following her story and what this could mean for her future as clerk and recorder, but also maybe some time she might face behind bars.
Tina Peters walked into the Mesa County Sheriff's Office around 10:30 this morning, facing an arrest warrant after resisting her arrest at a local coffee shop on Tuesday. According to the arrest affidavit, Grand Junction Police briefly detained Peters Tuesday, then released her. The DA's office called GJPD to assist after Peters resisted a search warrant for her iPad. Tina Peters allegedly used her iPad to record a hearing Monday for her former deputy clerk, Belinda Nicely, who was accused of second-degree burglary and cybercrimes related to election equipment. A DA investigator retrieved Peters' iPad while serving the search warrant. On Thursday morning, Peters immediately posted the $500 bond set for her warrant. In the search warrant affidavit, Peters claimed she was not recording and said her accusers were lying. Peters was released from the sheriff's office today with instructions on when she is expected to appear in court. Her court appearance is set for the morning of March 2nd. Mesa County commissioners have declined to comment, stating they have no involvement in the latest criminal investigation. The Mesa County Sheriff's Office booked Peters on 2 charges. Wednesday, GJPD charged her with obstructing a peace officer, and Thursday, the local DA's office charged Peters with obstructing government operations. Reporting for Fox 4 News, I'm Chance Sicklin.
Thanks, Chance. Now, that is just one of Clerk Tina Peters' current investigations. Multiple agencies have filed criminal investigations into Peters' actions, one involving a Grand County grand jury. I have been covering all of Peters' actions, and I now take you back to the beginning when all of this started nearly 2 years ago. It all started February of 2020 when the Clerk and Recorder's Office announced it found more than 500 uncounted ballots from a prior election. Peters declined to have those ballots counted, causing more than 24 employees to quit and leave the clerk's office. A recall attempt failed.
You can't go out and avoid public transparency.
Flash forward to 2021, August 9th. Colorado Secretary of State Jenna Griswold announces a probe of the Mesa County's clerk's office. The FBI then joins the criminal investigation into the alleged security breach.
The one we least suspected would hack the computer was the clerk herself.
August 10th, Peters appears at a cyber symposium alleging the 2020 presidential election was rigged. Grand Junction resident and activist Ann Landman files the first ethics complaint, alleging MyPillow's CEO Mike Lindell paid for Peters' flight to his symposium. August 12th, election system passwords show up in a video posted online, and the Secretary of State decertifies all of Mesa County's election equipment.
To prohibit the use of these voting system components in Mesa County.
And orders Mesa County to replace it. Accused of tampering with elections equipment, Peters responds,
I say never.
Peters announces a run for re-election in 2022 and refuses the Secretary's order, leading the state's Independent Ethics Commission to investigate.
This is an attempt to, I believe, to intimidate an election official.
And Landman files a second complaint.
No funds can be solicited unless the individual is formally charged. And Tina has not yet been formally charged.
In December, Peters denies allegations in the first ethics complaint but refuses to respond publicly to the second. The Mesa County District Attorney's Office then announces a grand jury trial. In January of 2022, Peters' ex-husband, Thomas Peters, slaps the clerk with another lawsuit, alleging Peters initiated a quitclaim deed and transferred his new home to herself. The Peters saga continued February 8th with the DA's search warrant and GJPD arrest. For now, all investigations continue, and only time will tell which federal, state, and local election tampering charges, if any, Peters will face in the end. Now, I know that was a lot, but again, Clerk Tina Peters currently faces 7 investigations. For a full timeline of events, head to westernslope.now.com. But that's not the only clerk taking the spotlight. Colorado Secretary of State says a county clerk has been cleared of a potential security breach of elections equipment. Jenna Griswold is closing her investigation of Douglas County Clerk and Recorder Merlin Klotz. Griswold says Klotz responded to an order that he disclose information about the possible copying of data from an election server. The investigation was triggered by a social media post attributed to Klotz, who denied anyone had made images of server hard drives. Klotz was the third clerk in Colorado under investigation for alleged breaches of state election systems. The other are Mesa County Clerk Tina Peters and Elbert County Clerk Dallas Schroeder. Now it's almost the weekend, but we aren't quite there yet. Let's take a quick look at the weather with your first forecast. Bringing in our Chief Meteorologist Russ Pappas in the conversation. Russ, what can you tell us on this Friday Eve? Thanks, Russ. Jumping back to news, School District 51 just announced they're accepting preschool applications for the 2022-23 school year. Applications for the little ones can be picked up at the Hawthorne building Monday through Friday at 7:30 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. Now, parents, if you can't make it in between that time, don't worry. Just go to D51's website to download the application. D51 preschool is tuition free, but you must meet these requirements. Your child must be 3 or 4 on or before August 31st of 2022. In order to find out if you meet the state requirements, visit the Colorado Department of Education page. That's D51 offers preschool programming to over 15 elementary schools. And for that full list, westernslopenow.com is ready for you to check it out. In other news, a judge has restored federal protections for gray wolves across much of the U.S. after they were removed in the waning days of the Trump administration. U.S. District Judge Jeffrey White said in today's ruling the Fish and Wildlife Service failed to show wolf populations could be sustained in the Midwest and portions of the West without protection under the Endangered Species Act. Wildlife advocates had angered state sponsors that hunting threatens to reserve the gray wolf's recovery over the past several decades. That recovery has brought bitter blowback from hunters and farmers angered over wolf attacks. And still to come on Fox 4 News at 6:30, we have updated information for you regarding 2 Denver crimes and Governor Jared Polis' plan to make Colorado one of the safest states in the nation. Plus, your full forecast is just minutes away. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Fox 4 News. A man wanted for shooting and killing a woman and injuring 2 others in a Denver church last week has died after he was shot by police. Now, 31-year-old Jose de Jesus Montoya Villa was shot Wednesday in Aurora when police stopped him in a vehicle he allegedly stole while committing other crimes, according to AP News. Authorities say Montoya Villa confronted the officers while armed when he was shot. He was transported to the hospital where he died from his injuries. That's when officials say they learned Montoya Villa was the suspect involved in a church shooting on Friday, killing a 37-year-old woman and injuring 2 others. Relatives of the woman killed in the church say she and the suspect had been in a relationship that ended. The 2 men injured inside the church are expected to survive. And a man wanted in a double homicide in suburban Denver has been arrested in central Kansas. The Facebook page for the Douglas County Sheriff's Office reports 29-year-old Casey DeVole was arrested Wednesday in Salina. Authorities say DeVole is suspected in the shooting deaths of 34-year-old Brian Gray and 36-year-old Jessica Mitchell, whose bodies were found on the garage of a Franktown home. Investigators believe the pair were killed Monday night. They say DeVole knew both victims, and surveillance video shows him at the home at the time of the killings. He'll be held in the Salina County Jail until he can be extradited to Colorado. Now, Colorado Governor Jared Polis wants the state to be among the safest in the nation. Polis was joined by lawmakers, members of law enforcement, and community representatives to outline a new public safety plan. But some of his opponents say they aren't sure if his new plan will get Colorado to that point. Fox 31's Gabrielle Franklin now reports with more.